Euphoria.
Guys!
Yeah.
Do you remember last week we have been to IIUM?
Oh
For the visit at pharmacy department. And what do you get from the visit?
Too much information.
Really?
Yes.
Like what?
Very.
I cannot know.
It was fun, I think.
Other than that?
I think the staff have been explained to us very detailed information.
Okay.
Mm,
Also
wait,
get a
wait.
nice experience.
Yes, Nabil?
I think I forgot.
What?
Can you recommend back the name of the department in the hospital? Someone?
I think for the first department, we had been to inpatient pharmacy.
Okay.
Okay. Did we went to the TPN?
Yes.
After that, we went to clinical ward pharmacy.
Oh, then we go to the IS, which is Drug Information Service.
Oh,
and
I remember
then,
that.
yeah, and then after that we go to Therapeutic Drug Monitoring, which is TDM.
Yes.
Next we move on to the DMAC.
DMAC.
You guys know what DMAC is?
Maybe.
Okay, I'll explain you.
Okay.
That
Then we go to outpatient pharmacy.
Lastly, we go to the store.
Okay guys, which one is the most interesting department for you guys?
For me, I think the most interesting department is inpatient pharmacy. Okay, the first department that we visited was inpatient pharmacy. Nabil, can you explain about the inpatient pharmacy?
Yeah, okay. So for the inpatient pharmacy, for the inpatient department, do you know what is the meaning of the inpatient itself?
No.
Can you explain?
Okay, for the inpatient mean that the patient who live in hospital for the while on the treatment, or in other words, the patients whose condition require admission to the hospital. Okay, so we as the pharmacists, what we need to do in this department, do you know?
Can you elaborate?
Okay, we as the pharmacists, of course, we need to do some pharmaceutical care activities from the work round until the patient discharged. So these work pharmacy activities encompass on all aspects of pharmacotherapy.
Oh, Nabil, how about the drug distribution in the IIUMC?
Okay, for IIUMC, we use the drug distribution system, which consists of unit of use and unit of dose. So for unit of dose, this medication are ordered, packaged, handled, and administered in the multiple of single dose unit, which means only in the single dose. So the patient will receive this pharmaceutical service for 24 hours a day, and they will charge the patient only for the dose that has been administered for them. Okay. For the units of use, we only provide the medications for the longer duration of the supply, basically about 3 days. And this medication is more than one single dose, which is more than 1%. Okay. For the prescription, we will receive the prescription from doctor, either manually and computerized. And of course, we will do the screening and filling, and then we will distribute the medication to the ward. For the counseling, so for the patient who need to counsel, they need to fill the counsel request form. So we as the pharmacists who work at that, we need to fulfill their requests and counsel the patients. I think that's all. Dino, do you want to add on something about this inpatient department?
For the inpatient, first they will receive the medication order. The medication order for what patient must be completed in the self-carbonized medication chart and signed by the prescriber. After that, we have to look. The prescription must be written with the generic name, complete with dose, administration route such as subcutaneous, IM or IV, and frequency of the drug. And after that, the prescription must be stamped and countersigned by the relevant specialist. based on the observation that I got from the IIUM, the prescription have three colors,
Okay.
which are white, blue, and yellow. So the white one should be separated from the carbonscopy, which is the yellow one. And then the carbonscopy should be retained in the ward. So basically, the medication order or prescription are used for newly admitted patients, patient transfer in from other ward, patient who have just undergone operation, or the prescription is already expired. So after that, the prescription has to be sent with the cumulative medication record. The completed original prescription must be sent to the pharmacy, and the nurse on duty is responsible for sending the prescription for the patient in the ward to the pharmacy. So there are several processes to supply the medication to the patient. We receive the prescription from the ward. So what we should do? We have to check the prescription first to ensure that the prescription are complete or not. After that, we screen the prescription. So screening pharmacy or pharmacy assistant? Okay, pharmacist. After if the prescription is okay, already complete, we proceed lah. If the prescription is not complete, or if there any intervention, the pharmacy or pharmacy assistant should contact the medical officer to confirm and issue the intervention note. The second process is the filling of the prescriptions. So the medication supplied to the ward must be in ready to use form in a container meant for administration of one dose and not exceeding the requirement for 24 hours. The pharmacist or pharmacy assistant can do the filling, and then it must be counter-checked by another pharmacist. So filling has to be done for new prescription and current prescription in the cumulative medication record. After that, after we do the filling, pharmacist have to ensure the cleanliness of the medication trolley and the bins. So all bins must be emptied before filling is done. Last but not least, we do the counter check, checking the supply. So all unit dose medication supply must be counter checked by different pharmacy staff from the one who did the filling. Basically, the medication filling and counter checking process must be done before the trolley collection before 12 noon. So after that, the nurse on duty should check the supply, receive, and inform the pharmacy if there are any corrections. And then we supply the medication to the patient in the ward. That's all from me.
Alright, so now let's move on to the storage room in the inpatient department. So basically, in this department, there are three different rooms which we store the oral dosage form, IV preparations, and topical preparations. For the first storage room, it stores all the oral dosage form, and they are arranged according to their pharmacological group and alphabetically. And for the second room, it's stored for all injection preparations, and in this room there is a refrigerator provided because there is some drug that need to be stored in refrigerator and cannot be stored in the room temperature, for example vaccine. Okay, for the next room, we'll store all the topical preparations such as inhaler, creams, and eye drop. And lastly, for the psychotropic drug, there is specific cabinet which need to be locked, and the key need to be kept by the pharmacist to avoid any theft or diversions of the psychotropic drug. And in every room, there will be provided a bin card which basically will record all the in and out about the drug.
I have a question.
Yeah.
As there are drugs that look alike and sound alike, how do we need to store them to avoid wrong drug being dispensed?
Yeah, good question. Basically, this drug that look alike or sound alike will be arranged in a distance, which means that they cannot be arranged or stored side by side to avoid any medication error.
We are also being briefed on the floor sort system. Let me explain to you on the floor sort system, okay? flow stock system is a system where the pharmacy supply the medication to the ward so that the healthcare provider in that particular ward will have the storage of the medications. The drug supply involves commonly used drugs and emergency medications. The point of this system, flow stock system, is to avoid the time required to get the necessary medications from the pharmacy to the nurse who administer them. In other words, a nurse can implement medications order directly and quickly. In our IIUMC, the flow stock trolley is being applied on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Can the pharmacy just supply the medications as many as they want?
No. They cannot. The ward are only permitted to have a limited quantity of frequently used medications. So the pharmacies should supply the flow stock or emergency trolley more than the minimum limit, but not exceeding the maximum limit.
Okay, I have something in my mind.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, there will be increased the risk of medication error happen in this flow stock system, isn't it?
Yes. There will be high risk of medication error or human error regarding dispensing this drug, as they bypass the pharmacy itself, which causing a limited review of medication order by pharmacies. That's basically the inpatient pharmacies.
Ini guna unit of use lah kan?
Yes.
But for me, I think DMAC department is the most interesting.
DMAC is one of medication therapy adherence clinic, or also known as MTech. MTech is introduced in Malaysia in 2004. It is a part of the clinical pharmacy services, which include in the ambulatory clinic system, which focus more on the medication management to improve the quality, safety, and also the cost effectiveness of the patient care. So why in IIUM Medical Center only has diabetes MTech instead of the other MTech is because of the diabetes has become the major healthcare burden in Malaysia. Just now, some of you don't know what DMAC is. So DMAC stands for Diabetes Medication Adherence and Pharmaceutical Care Clinic. DMAC is service offered by a trained pharmacist who will provide counselling and education to the patient with the aim to increase the patient knowledge, adherence towards the diabetes medication. It also to reduce the adverse effect and also complication because of the multiple drug regimen. Other than that, it also to assist the physician to monitor the patient outcome. So the patient will come at least 8 visits and they will receive the medication adherence assessment, identification and management of drug-related problem, medication counseling on the diabetes disease, monitoring their clinical outcome, and also diabetes education from the pharmacies. So in IIUM MC, DMAC only operated for 2 days, which is Wednesday and Thursday. So you guys want to add about the patient selection for this place?
There are several criteria for patient selection that is eligible for the service. First one is, of course, the patient is currently receiving their therapy in hospital or have clinic. And here, of course, in IIMMC. Then the patient with uncontrolled diabetes condition, despite of optimal medication has been prescribed for them. Then the patient that is detected non-compliance to the medication, and patient with HbA1c more than 8, and patient with blood glucose more than 8. Then patient with comorbidities, so they are receiving multiple medication. Then the last one is patient with several complications like retinopathy or chronic kidney disease. So that is the criteria for the patient that is selected for the service.
Okay, so it was mentioned just now that the patient should undergo 8 visits. So each visit, the patient should complete a module regarding diabetes mellitus. So there are 8 modules in total. So the first module talks about the general things about diabetes mellitus that the patient should know. And the second module discuss about the treatment goals for diabetes mellitus, which include to attain near normal blood glucose level and also to prevent long-term complications of diabetes. The third module discussing about oral medications such as metformin, ripaglinide and acarbose. The fourth module, the patient will be educated regarding insulin therapy, which includes insulin pen and how to use and store the insulin. The fifth module, the pharmacist will recommend lifestyle changes or non-pharmacological interventions such as smoking cessation, low sugar diet and also exercise regularly. The sixth module discuss about meal plans for diabetic patients. This include on how the patient should reduce their glucose level gradually without any drastic changes. The seventh module discussing about complications of diabetes mellitus such as diabetic retinopathy, diabetic cataract and also cardiovascular diseases. And the last module discussing about the most chronic complication of diabetes, which is diabetic foot ulcers. So this is what actually DMAC do.
Mana? Macam dia buat main. Ikan di 3 bulan sekali atau sebulan sekali?
But for me, I think the most memorable for me is outpatient pharmacy. Okay, so now Nada and I will explain about outpatient pharmacy. Outpatient pharmacy is located near the consultation or treatment room. For each patient, the maximum waiting time is 30 minutes. In IIUM I realized that there were 2 pharmacists at the counter and 3 assistant pharmacists in the filling area. I also remember that the waiting area for the patient is very conducive, very comfortable, and the outpatient pharmacy counter is very open, which means that there is no barrier between the patient and the pharmacy and between the staff to one another. Every counter provided with computer terminal or online dispensing system.
During the visit, it's such a great experience and opportunity to see how the dispensing process is done. The pharmacist will dispense the medications as prescribed by the doctor to the patient who can walk around and not confined to the hospitalizations. The pharmacist will receive the prescriptions and validate it. The prescriptions could be in authentic forms or in the online forms. The pharmacist or the pharmacy assistant will screen the prescriptions and then prepare the medication as well as do the labeling. As for the labeling are done by using computerized system and it will be printed out then will be put on the packaging. Later, the medications are counter-checked by another pharmacist, not the one who do the fillings. And then the action taken then will be recorded. The medication then is passed to the pharmacist at the counter and they will issue the medication to the patient along with the clear instructions and also advice. If the patients are required to refill their medications, the prescriptions are written to the patients with clear information stated at the back of the prescriptions. The pharmacists also do the counselings if needed.
Okay guys, in the outpatient there is also times where we need to make and prepare the medications on that time. So this requires skills and knowledge, especially in calculating the dose. From what we have learned, extemporaneous preparations include the internal and external preparation, right? The internal meaning that the drug are normally intended to be taken orally, like syrups, suspension and emulsion. These solutions are usually needed when the patient is a child or someone that having the problem to swallow tablet or capsule normally. While the external, it includes the cream and gel, because according to the staff there, it is cheaper to buy the cream in a bulk rather than buying in a small pack one. For the handling and preparation, Both are prepared by the pharmacist or the pharmacist assistant. But for external, anyone who are trained can do the procedure with under provision of a pharmacist there. And for the place where the extemporaneous preparation are done, basically it is just behind the filling area in a room, especially for the preparation there. Lastly, the important aspect for the extemporaneous preparation drug are the stability of the drug. How they maintain the stability of a drug is the freshly prepared one, they will store in the fridge or refrigerator first before being dispensed to the patients. Basically, this is to ensure the quality, efficacy and safety of the drug is established first.
I mean, did they prepare the medication in the clean room?
No, the room is like the one that we did in the lab, but which are clean enough and suitable enough to handle the process.
I want to add something about the outpatient pharmacy. When I go through the medicine rank, I realized that the medicine is organized by the pharmacological order and the alphabetical order. So I think it's very, very practical and systematic. Next, I was informed that the medicine in the outpatient pharmacy must be sufficient and is stored in appropriate condition and handled by trained and qualified personnel. The expiry date of each medicine should also be monitored so that to avoid expiration in the storage. The system of first expiry, first out is implemented there. All supplies of the dangerous drug and psychotropic drug must be handled by the pharmacist, not the assistant pharmacist. I also remember that there is a leaf for the medicine which is known as pneumatic tube system, which to receive or send the medicine from one department to another rapidly. Only solid and non-breakable medicine can be transferred through the system. There is one area adjacent to the outpatient pharmacy specific for the drive-through pharmacies, but this service is not available yet. Do you want to add more?
No.
Okay. No, I think the information that we provide is sufficient for us. That's all.
So we have learned a lot of things from the few departments that you have mentioned. But do you have any suggestion that you want to give out to improve your departments?
I think for inpatient department, I think it's better for them to use a fully computerized system.
Why do you think so?
Can I answer for that question? By having computerized system, we can reduce the prescription errors. It will become more systematic and more efficient.
Any other?
For me, for the med department, other than diabetes mellitus, there are other several services that should be provided too, such as asthma. Asthma is a common healthcare problem among Malaysian society, and also on the usage of warfarin, because it can cause such a life-threatening condition to the patient. So not only diabetes but also other common diseases.
Interesting.
I want to suggest something also for the DMED department in which the pharmacist can provide hard copy or soft copy of the modules itself to the patient so that they can make them as reference at home, so that they can improve the compliance and adherence to the medication.
For the outpatient, because the hospital is quite new, so the value-added service is not available yet. So I think in the near future, value-added service such as SMS and post should be included in the service.
Wow, what a great information I got from you guys. So meaning that this visit really opened our mind and thought about the future or the job scope of the pharmacist, right?
Yes.
And I hope in the future we can be a part of the team and maybe we can do something to contribute better for the pharmacist department. Pharmacy
Bye.
Lepas tu grade B yang tempat you nak prepare produk. Ini untuk issue non-sterile.
Yang buat kat awak tu nurse ke ataupun pharmacist?
Alright.
IT tak buat kat sini sebab cukup.
Belum lagi, kita memang tak cukup manpower.